Hey everybody, Trina here, back with another mixed media art demonstration. Today I'm going to be working in my um, small little watercolor book that I made about 3 months ago, so I'll leave a link for that down up above. I'm also going to be using my Winsor Newton Cotman watercolor set. I got a pencil, this Pittman Faber-Castell black pen, and let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do is just draw out some lines. What I'm working on today is sort of a memory of the blossoms that are blooming around town today. These lovely pink blooms everywhere. That's why I sound a little stuffy today, because I have allergies. So what better way to do that than to paint your allergies? So I'm going to start off here with a little bit of light red to make this sort of pink color. This is alizarin crimson that I'm using. I'm going to add a little bit of brown in there to give the branches just a little bit of color. I'm going to start off really light. I don't want this to get too dark on me too quick. One thing I have learned about watercolor, I'm not great at it, but I do enjoy it, and I've really been trying to get better with my technique. So this is going to be a very loose, abstract piece, adding in a bit of green and yellow to make a sort of lime color for the background. These trees do have a lot of leaves, obviously, and there's a little bit of hints of green. So I really wanted to include some green, because if it's all pink, it doesn't really work. Um, so then I'm adding a little bit of this blue color to give me a darker color, blue-green color, to sort of give some depth to it. Add in some of these little branches that will probably not show up later. So adding in a bit of this color into the background just to sort of give it, um, again, more dark and contrast. Adding in some yellow to just get more greens in there. And I wanted to start with the greens because I'm going to cover that up with more of the pink buds and red colors that I'm going to add, and maybe in a little purple as well. So here I'm adding more alizarin crimson. We're going to get a little darker, a little white, lighten it up, tint it up just a little bit, and you can see I'm adding in just little dots of red color. I'm not trying to be too specific, just trying to give the impression of these pink blooming trees that make me sneeze a lot. I really like working this way. It's very relaxing. It's not stressful. I don't know how it's going to turn out, and that's sort of the adventure of it all. Um, Not really working with a big palette today. Trying to stick with the greens and the reds and the pinks and maybe a little purple, because they do look purple in some aspects. Um, I don't usually work from photos because I think I get too hung up on what it's supposed to look like than what I can see in my mind. And so this is just a fun way for me to work. Here you can see I'm making sort of this reddish purple color by using the uh, cobalt blue and the alizarin crimson that come with this set. This is one of my favorite watercolor sets because it's real simple. It comes with 12 colors. It's a travel size. It's perfect to just take out into uh, the world and paint plein air, which I might do later this week. I might do another video. It's kind of hard to record outside, but we'll see what we can do. So again, I'm just loosely adding in these little blotches of color, and you can see it's starting to fill in. It's starting to look more cohesive and more like a blooming tree branch. I'm pretty much using the end of my brush, not and just sort of dabbing it to make these nondescript shapes, adding in a bit of tiny little dots to kind of change it up a little bit. Cleaning up my brush, adding in a bit of phthalo blue to the alizarin crimson and getting this really nice dark reddish purple that's a little different than when you mix it with the cobalt. As you can see, it is a little bit darker and a little bit more reddish purple. It's a different color. It's a warmer tone almost because the blue that I'm using is a little warmer than the cobalt blue. And just sort of changing it up and adding a bit more red. I like the way this is coming out. I like the hint of flowers and the hint of buds without it being perfectly drawn, because I don't like perfectly drawn things. And now I'm going to add a bit of black into that and change it up just a little bit. Don't want too much black in there. I just want it to be this sort of dark maroon color and a different darkness to go in there to add more depth. I'm not sure. I believe that when you work with watercolor, you should work from light to dark. At least that's the way I tend to do it, only because it's really hard to add light back into your watercolors. Preserving light is very important, which I am really bad at. I just want to paint the whole thing. But I'm getting better. And like I said, I'm not the best watercolorist, but I do enjoy painting with watercolors. I think it's just a lovely medium. It makes me happy. So I do things that make me happy. So yeah, you can see it's starting to take shape. We're getting a little bit more darks in there. And now I just want to add some pure alizarin crimson into it. And we're kind of bringing those shapes together, if that makes sense. So now we're just trying to add in a little bit of the red to really make it come together on as solid shapes rather than little individual shapes. I will also leave a link above to the swatching of these colors that I did when I first got them, because that's important to be able to know how to mix your colors. You have to make swatches, and I do my swatches a little differently. I just sort of mix. I don't make a chart. I just sort of, put down some color and mix it and mix and mix until, just to see how many different colors I can make with any particular set of watercolors. So I'll leave a link for that above so you can take a look at that as well. Adding in some sort of grayish purple colors. Now I'm going to go in with my Faber-Castell Pitt pen, and I just want to add some dark lines to this to sort of bring out the branch a little bit more and to add in some contrast, and some, not only contrast in color, but also contrast of the lines versus the, a solid line versus a painterly line. I think it's very important to have a variety of line in your work as well. And I really like how this has come along. I'm pretty happy with it. And I love this little sketchbook, and I want to fill it up. So I think I have about 30 pages in here. So it's going to be a fun little book when I get it done. And I'm excited to be able to share it with you. So now I'm going to add in, I didn't really like that line that I made earlier. And the best thing about watercolors is that with most of them, you can go back and re-wet them and take out what you don't like, which is awesome and crazy good. So I want this to be just a little darker here around the edges to add in some more of that background and give it a contrast with what's in front. I probably should have added at least a little blue in there, so I'm going to add in a little bit of phthalo blue or cobalt blue to this to this just to add a hint of blue-green in there to kind of give it a cool contrast. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.